Gorian Gathering Place podcast, sharing about the Gorian philosophy, the Gorian ethos, and the Gorian lifestyle. Now here is your host, Rocker.
Hi everyone, thank you again for joining another episode of the Gorian Gathering Place podcast. Today what I would like to talk about is the importance of rituals. Oftentimes you'll find a lot of newer people coming in, especially young couples, that they've either met Gorians at an event, or they've come across it through some kind of online source, or they just happenstance to maybe come across the books. And they think that, these are really neat things. We should incorporate these into our master-slave relationship. And so you'll find out that they'll be looking in the books, and throughout the entire book series, there are many rituals, many different forms of mastery that do take place, and people become overwhelmed as far as, I need to do all these things, and no, you don't. Oftentimes you'll see young couples that they'll come out to an event and they'll come up to you afterwards and say, well, what do you do as far as rituals and protocols? And then they'll go to a different couple and they'll ask them, well, what do you do as far as your rituals and your protocols? And what ends up happening is that they become overwhelmed because they think that there's all these rules and what's expected of them. And so they become overwhelmed because they think that there's just too much that they have to bring in. And it's very simple. Yeah, folks, it is really very simple. That if you are new to Gore, or you are a young couple that's coming in, you don't need to do everything that everyone else is doing. You need to make it your own. You need to make it unique and something that is special for the both of you, both as master and as slave. Now with me, I do have some very specific things that I expect and I do demand from any girl that is under my care. And I'm just going to share just a few of them. There's not many, but they're all very simple. They're things that you can do in your home anytime. They're things that you can do when you're out in public, whether you're at a restaurant, whether you're at a church function, whether you're at a political event. It doesn't matter. Oftentimes that we think that rituals need to be very elaborate. And, sometimes you'll come across a video on YouTube or you'll read a book on, rituals and protocols, and it becomes this huge, elaborate thing. Basically, there's one video that's out there about a slave that's serving her master his coffee. And it's like a 10-minute process that the slave goes through as far as, making the coffee and kissing the rim of the cup as she's making it, and then she brings it to her master and she falls on her knees and she's holding the cup up and she says this little mantra thing that she has already made up, and then she kisses the cup, the ring in the cup again, and then hands it to him, and it's just like, I'm sorry, with me, if I want a coffee, girl, get me a coffee. She goes, she gets it, she brings it to me, she hands it to me the specific way that I enjoy and that I demand that it's done, and it's over with. I want my coffee hot. Like, there's no sense having this big elaborate production, and by the time you end up getting your drink, you've forgotten all about it, or you said, fuck it, I'm going to the coffee shop and get my own coffee. So anyhow, rituals. Okay, now there are several that I do enjoy, and these are just suggestions, okay, but these are important. At least they're important to me. The first ritual that I really enjoy is at the end of the night, is that before I retire, or before I go to sleep, is that the girl ends up going into the bed first, prepares the bed, prepares herself, and so that when I come into the bedroom, she's in the Nadu position on the bed. It never ceases to amaze me that it doesn't matter how difficult your day has been. With all the things that happen in life, at our workplaces, with our family, just different things that happen. But at the end of the day, when you can walk into that bedroom and you see your girl, your property, the one that has surrendered to you in the nadu position on the bed. It just makes everything right with the world again. The other thing that it does for the girl and for you is that it reinforces what they are. Is the fact that, yes, you're my girl. You look fucking hot right now. Or, yes, master, I'm here in nadu. I'm pleasing. I want to please you. I want to make you happy before we go to sleep. And if you have any issues, that those are the times that you sort those things out before you go to sleep. You never want to go to bed angry, but usually in that kind of a setting, anything that is sort of been still happening, it can be dealt with in the proper context and in the proper atmosphere as master and slave. So those things, that's very important to me, and it's something that I've done ever since basically I was a teenager. That those were one of the things. Yes, I want to incorporate this in any relationship that I have, and I've held it out onto that for well over close to 40 years now. One of the other things is towel service. And this is something that I've only have been doing really regularly for the last 20 years or so. But as if I have a girl and we're having, I really encourage you to be able to shower together whenever possible. I know sometimes schedules get in the way, and with our hectic lives, that even something like showering together sometimes can be difficult. But I really encourage you to make the effort to be able to do that. First of all, it's just another form of intimacy, is that you can share together. There's no children around, phone's not ringing, you're not getting emails from the office. It's just you and your partner, you and your slave, you and your master, and you're showering together. And plus, it's just another bonus that, in fact, you're able to scrub each other's back, and you can reach those places that are hard to get. But at the end of the shower is that the girl gets out, and she ends up getting my towel for me, so that when I pull back the door or pull back the curtain on the shower, is that she's already on her knees holding the towel up for me. It's a simple gesture, but it means a lot. Again, it's reinforcing that she's wanting to serve and that she's wanting to please. You can do these things. We do these things also with many girls that I've had, that when I've gone down to Oasis down in Toronto, which is a upper scale sex club, is that they have a hot tub on the inside of the building, and they also have a swimming pool outside. And that if we're swimming outside in the swimming pool, when it's time, okay, I've had enough of this kind of thing, and I'll let the girl know, 3 minutes, and we're getting out. And at that point, she'll do a couple of laps or do whatever she needs to do, and then she'll get out ahead of me, and she'll go and get the towel, and then go over to where the ladder is and kneel down holding the towel up. And I tell you, there's nothing more special than when you can have 60, 70 people, swingers, kinky people, and just other people around that swimming pool, and you can hear a pin drop. Is that when I get out, climb that ladder, and she's holding that towel up for me, number one, it makes the girl feel very special. Because she knows she's unique and she's pleasing and that everybody's watching. Secondly, as Goreans, it sets us apart, that we are different. We make no apologies for that. That we do have rituals that are important to us, but are extremely hot. And there's been many times, and I mean many times, that people have come up to us afterwards and said, that was fucking hot. And it's like, well, if you think it's hot, why don't you do that in your dynamic? It's simple. It's not hard. Anybody can do it, really. How hard is it for your girl, if you are in an MS or even a DS dynamic, to be able to do that for you? And you can see that light go on in their head. And it's like, why can't we do some of these things? And but that's another thing that I find that's very important, is towel service is another ritual that to me is unique, it's special, but it sets us apart from anyone else. It's individualistic, and it's something that again, it's just important to reinforce that master-slave dynamic. Um, Another thing that I do is that I am a kinky Gorean, and I do go to play parties. Is that if I'm going to play with my girl, they know that I want it to be something that's special between us. And so one of the things that I've always incorporated, and this goes back many, many years, back in the 90s actually, when I first came out to the kink community, is that that if when we're going to play publicly, is that we'll get all the stuff ready at the front, whether it be a cross or a bench or a sex swing or whatever, and I'll have the girl strip seductively in front of me. You know, very slowly, do a little strip tease, and she's just focused on me. She's looking at me. But she knows by the smile on my face and the look in my eye how pleasing that is to me. And then when she's done, she'll get down in the natty position naked on the floor. And at this point is that I'll go up to her and I'll play with her hair a little bit, nibble on the back of her neck, you know, tweak her nipples a little bit to make sure that they're erect, and then find out how turned on she is and how wet she is. And there's nothing beautiful, because at that point there could be 200 people in that room. But to me and to her, it is just her and I. And it becomes an intimate thing. And before you end up putting that girl on the cross or on the sex swing or over a bench, it's just looking at her and saying, "You look so fucking beautiful. I'm so happy that you're with me. You make me very happy." And it's a form of foreplay, for sure, but it just reassures her how much she means to you and how intimate that kind of relationship can be, even in the simple thing as before you start playing, that you have this little ritual that you do. So anyhow, those are just a couple of things that I do, that I really enjoy and that are important to me. And I just want to encourage you is that if you're a young couple starting out, don't be overwhelmed as far as trying to set up some rituals and protocols. The key things that you need to remember is that be consistent. Okay? Don't keep changing the standards or lowering the standards or the methodology or what you're doing with it. Always be consistent. Always have a goal and objective. Why are we doing this? And, well, everyone else is doing it. Well, that's not really good. You need to establish why you want to do this between the two of you so that she understands how important this is to you and how meaningful it is, and vice versa. That when you're instructing her, this is what I want you to do, is that you are relaying and communicating with her that, yes, this is how I want things done because it does mean something to me, and I want it to mean something to us. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. Hope you had a great weekend, and we will talk to you later.